Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Today I'm going to be doing hot wings with some cabbage and macaroni and cheese. So stay tuned and don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you. What's up, guys? So today I'm making some hot wings. To clean your chicken, you take some apple cider vinegar and water. I skipped that stage on camera. It's already been done. I'm at the phase where I'm seasoning my chicken. I put a little seasoning salt, lemon pepper, some garlic powder, and Greek seasoning on top. Mix it up, and then that's ready to go into your fryer. You want to fry them just like this. We're making hot wings. I don't like mushy texture, and my mom taught me that the best way to do this is to fry it without anything on it, so you can get that crunchy skin and add that sauce to it. So I'll be back. So as you can see, I have my grease. Cast irons are the best way to go. I'm frying it. You know it's ready if you take a little water and splat it at the grease. Stand back though, and then put your chicken in there. I got my water boiling for my macaroni and cheese. And then over here, my cabbage. Hey guys, so I'm chopping up my sweet potatoes. I cut them, first I peel them. Cut it in half long ways, and cut it in half short ways. Then we're going to take our half, which is about that size. We're going to half that and then cut diagonal. And then I'll come back and show you what they look like. This is the consistency that we're looking for. Nice little halves. And now we're going to go in with our brown sugar, nutmeg, vanilla extract, butter, sugar, and nutmeg. I think I said that already. And cinnamon. And that's it. And we're going to put it in the oven and let it cook until they're tender, nice and soft, and you cut them with a fork like a potato. Chicken's frying. Macaroni and cheese is done. I did a box macaroni and cheese. I do not make good mac and cheese. I'll tell you that now. And we've got our cabbage. I added potatoes, andouille sausage, bacon, and then we got the cabbage. Right here we have our candied yams. This is after the brown sugar and butter has pretty much melted. I mixed everything through, and we're just going to keep cooking these until they're fork tender. So this portion of the video, I'm going to kind of get a little bit more in depth. I realize that some of the viewers that watch me may not know how to do hot wings the way that I do them. And I don't want to just assume that you guys do. So I'm going to give a full breakdown of kind of what I did for the whole preparation of the food. So for the hot wings, the most important thing when dealing with any meat, especially chicken, is to clean it. So I use apple cider vinegar and some water, and I let my chicken soak at least for 20 minutes. I want to get that gunk off of it, and sometimes it just doesn't happen if you're just pouring the apple cider vinegar and rinsing it off. So I let the chicken soak in that for about 20 minutes. I rinse that off, get the chicken clean, and then I move on to the next step of the process, which is to season. I like to use lemon pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, chicken adobo. It just really depends on your liking and what you like. I'm one of those, if I feel like it, I'm gonna put it in. And so once I do that, I do not bread my chicken. You don't want to bread the chicken, because what I notice is when you get like buffalo wings and they've been breaded and then they're put in sauce, they're just really like not a good texture and not really appeasing to me and my taste buds. So what I like to do, which is what my mother taught me to do, is to just take the chicken straight the way it is after being seasoned and put it straight in the fryer. And you allow that chicken to get all crisp and nice. And then we're going to take it out and we're going to create our hot wing sauce, which I use Frank's hot sauce. This particular time I use Texas Pete, and I take some butter, about a half a stick. I let that mix in with the hot sauce, and that kind of cuts some of the heat down for those people who don't really like their stuff too hot. And then we let our chicken wings get back in there, submerge them in that sauce, and you want that sauce to kind of cook into those chicken wings, and that way you still keep that crunchy texture and everything tastes really good. Move on to the candied yams. This is one of my favorite things to make. It is so simple, it's so good. I like to cut the candied yams. First I peel them, then I cut them in half and then do them into little quarters. And this allows the cooking process to be the same. It's no different than when you're making mashed potatoes. You want all of your potatoes to have the same consistency, and so the same thing applies with your candied yams. You want them to be about the same size and thickness so that they all cook at the same time and they don't get burnt while they're in the oven. So what I like to do is have them, I put them into a glass Pyrex dish, which always seems to work perfectly for this type of dish. I add in the brown sugar, and at this point the brown sugar is going to create a syrup in those candy yams as they begin to cook down. The yams are going to also release their natural juices, and it just makes for a really great dish. I also add vinegar. Nope, I don't add no vinegar. I add vanilla. I add vanilla. Sorry guys, vanilla. Do not add vinegar. They will be disgusting. So I add vanilla. I love to add the brown sugar. I cut up my butter into little small pieces and lay those on top. I also like to use regular sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg. Simple, easy peasy. You put that in the oven with all of that stuff on top. As you see the cooking process begin to cook the yams and make that slurry syrup, you want to start to mix that in through. So you're going to be checking these throughout the whole cooking process because you want to make sure that they're perfection by the time they're ready to come out of the oven. We're going to be making our cabbage. And with the cabbage, it's always key. I'm not a pork eater like that, but I do feel like bacon is essential in some things. It just adds a flavor that you can't get really from anything else. So I take my bacon and I cut it up into little pieces. I also cut up onions into little pieces and I saute those. Those are crucial because that is where we're getting our flavor profile from. That's how we're building our flavor from there. And then you also get that natural grease from the bacon, which is going to help cook that cabbage. So then I go ahead while that bacon and onion is getting all nice and emulsified, and I cut up my cabbage. And I want to cut up the cabbage into little bite-sized pieces. Again, we want uniformity. We want to make sure that each piece is about the same size. I also cut up my andouille sausage at the same time. You can use kielbasa, but I find that andouille sausage just gives it that southern flavor, and that's what I'm always looking for. It just has that extra and it's always needed. So I go ahead and cut that up. While the bacon is cooking, once it has cooked, I'm going to take that bacon out because it's going to continue to cook with that cabbage, and we don't want that. We don't want burnt bacon. We want it to be nice and crunch but chewy because, again, it's going to continue to cook when you add that back into the pot. I take my onions out with the bacon and then add in my andouille sausage. When I'm adding in the andouille sausage, it also has its own oil, so that's going to also be great to cook the cabbage in. And then I add my cabbage in. In a separate pot, I'm always boiling potatoes. I love potatoes and cabbage with the sausage. It just does something to it. It makes the dish so much better. So I'm boiling my potatoes because I want to do that process separately because I want to make sure that they cook all the way through. Then I cook the cabbage down. Once you've gotten the cabbage and you're frying the cabbage, because that's the key to it, you want to fry it in that, in that bacon grease as well as in that sausage grease. Then once the cabbage is fried down to a nice translucent kind of texture where it's still not all the way cooked through, you're going to add about a half a cup of water in and then put the lid on top of the cabbage to allow it to start to steam and to cook down. In the middle of that process, we're going to add in our sausage, add our bacon and onion back in, and we're going to check our potatoes to see if they are fork tender. Once they are fork tender, we're going to add those into the cabbage as well. You're going to add your seasonings to your desired liking, and that's when you're going to allow the cabbage to begin to stew and cook within itself. And that's how we make my cabbage. This is the consistency that we want the hot wings to look like. Just put them in, and then you'll just spoonful some hot sauce on top, and then they're ready to serve.